Hey everyone, it's Hiro. Are you enjoying breeding Medaka? As you may already know, once the conditions are right, Medaka lay eggs almost every day, making it easy and fun to breed them at home. But I often get messages like this. I get tons of eggs and the fry hatch just fine, but then suddenly they start disappearing. In this video, I'll dive into the possible reasons why this happens and share some tips based on my 6 years of experience raising Medaka. On this channel, I, Hiro, a Medaka lover and aquarist from Japan, share all kinds of info about Japanese fish and aquariums. If you are interested in Japanese fish and aquariums, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I share lots of content about Medaka and other cool native species from Japan. Alright, let's get started. Let's start with something very basic. Are you separating the fry and eggs from the adult fish? With Ribera-like guppies or moris, the babies are born already quite large. So even if you keep them in the same tank as the parents, they usually survive if there are enough plants to hide in. The real issue with Libera is often that the parents eat all the food. But Medaka are different. Medaka can lay about 20 eggs per day under good conditions, which is quite impressive. However, unlike guppies and moris, Medaka will eat their own fry, and even the eggs. That's a huge difference, and something you really need to remember if you are serious about breeding them. The second reason is also basic but often overlooked: fry dying from lack of food. Medaka fry are tiny. When they hatch, they swim immediately and carry a little nutrient sac called a yolk sac. This sustains them for about 2 to 3 days. If the right kind of food isn't available when that time comes, the fry will quickly weaken and die from starvation. It's a critical stage, and missing it can result in heavy losses. And third, conflict among the fry themselves. Even fry born on the same day can grow at very different speeds. Within just 2 weeks, you'll notice some getting much bigger than others. The larger fry often start nipping at the smaller ones. Overcrowded tanks or high egg density can make this problem worse. I've heard so many people say things like, "There are so many fry, and now they are all gone." This is often the reason why. Let's talk about some real solutions now. If the fry or eggs are getting eaten, you'll need to separate them. Use a different container to raise the fry, or better yet, remove the spawning mop or plant the moment eggs are laid and transfer it to a new container. Some advanced breeders in Japan even handpick the eggs from the mop and raise them separately. It's a lot of work but very effective. The point is, don't leave eggs or fry with adults. Medaka lays so many eggs every day because nature assumes most of them will get eaten. But if you manage them properly, you can raise an incredible number of fry. Of course, not everyone has room for extra tanks. In that case, try raising the adults in a larger container and add lots of plant or hiding spots for the fry. That way, at least some of them will escape being eaten. Now let's talk about feeding. Artificial food works just fine for Medaka fry, but the key is size. Their mouths are super tiny. Look for microparticle food designed for fry. In Japan, there are many options specifically made for Medaka fry. high in protein and fat, and optimized for their growth. How about in your country? A Medaka specific food available? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, if you don't have access to special fry food, try crushing regular tropical fish food into a fine powder with a blender or mortar. Another great option I highly recommend is culturing infusoria, especially Parmesan. If you've bred betta fish before, you probably know what I mean. Tiny microorganisms are perfect for newly hatched fry. Culturing them is easy, and I'll cover that in the separate video. But the key part is this. When you have Parmesan in the water, there's always live food available. The fry can feed anytime. I usually feed only Parmesan for the first week after hatching, and I've noticed that survival rate is much higher compared to artificial food alone. Growth is also noticeably faster. Highly recommended. The last tip, sort the fry by size. As I mentioned earlier, after about 2 weeks, you'll see clear size differences. Temperature and food quality also affect growth speed, but once the differences appear, move the bigger fry to another container. This step is really important. I usually let the adult spawn on the same mob for about a week, then move the mob to the new container. That way, I don't end up with too many containers. Of course, some eggs probably get eaten during that week, but it's a reasonable balance. When I sort by size, I don't go too crazy, just a rough big group and small group. Then after another week, I repeat just process as size differences appear again. If you want to mix the fry back in with the adult chunk later, wait until they are over 2 cm long, then it's usually safe. Be careful though. Fry are very fragile. Never scoop them roughly with a net. Use a soft net made for fry, or better yet, use a cup and transfer them with the water. So what do you think? These aren't advanced techniques, but if you follow them carefully, you can raise a lot more fry than before. I hope your tanks are filled with healthy, beautiful Medaka someday. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. It means a lot to me. I'm always excited to connect with people around the world who love fish as much as I do. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.